note of where the exits are in case of an emergency, so you can leave quickly and safely. Also, please remember that this is a smoke-free school district. Smoking is not permitted in the building or anywhere on school grounds. It's also a hate-free and bully-free school district. Hate and bullying is also prohibited in the building and everywhere on school grounds. So we go next to the board consent agenda. Items C1 through C11. Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Trent, a second by Ms. Aruda. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? C1 through C11 are approved. And next would be the superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you, President Hayes. First, I'd like to wish good evening to everyone. We apologize that it's a little longer than we had anticipated, so the board and I did not get the opportunity to join you all in the reception. So we apologize for that. So welcome to all of our administration, our faculty, staff, family and friends, retirees, tenured candidates, everyone. We appreciate you being here and we're so glad you join us. What I would have done in the reception is to give a shout out to Ms. Hartman and our student musicians. While I did not get to listen to them, I'm sure they were splendid. So let's hear it for Violet, Anna, Lee, and George. And then also a big shout out for our culinary program, Ms. Mason, Ms. Melandro, Ms. Bonas, and all of our culinary students. The board and I did get the opportunity to sample some of the treats in there, so we do know that you were treated to. Just to give you an idea of the plan before I get into my report, obviously we're here in the auditorium. We did a couple of approvals right now. Our first discussion will be the retirees, and we will go building by building, and then our district folks will present the retirees. And then after that, I will ask the board to do an omnibus motion for curriculum and business, so they can vote on a couple more approvals and items, and then we'll move to personnel. And at which time the board will vote on personnel. And then afterwards, I will ask all 10 candidates to please stand. And then after that, it's just some closing remarks, and we really shouldn't be that long. So the meeting should not be a long meeting. So if you could all just please hang in there with us. Okay, so as for my report, I'd like to, I have been routinely reporting on our COVID positive numbers at each of our board meetings. As of today, we have 1,063 known COVID positive cases that have been reported to the district. Of those 1,063, 327 are faculty or staff members, and 736 are students. In addition to COVID, we recently received notice from the state that beginning June 21st, schools will no longer be required to test unvaccinated teachers and staff weekly, so that requirement will be ending. And then finally, by way of report, I am happy to report that the John Conquest Athletic Field Dedication Monument has been completed. This is a monument that the board approved earlier in the year. It's been set. Currently, we are working on the site to finish up, so we're preparing to have a formal dedication once that site is complete. I'm told that it should be done by June 11th, so we'll be looking at a date with details to follow. And that's all the announcement I have, President Hayes.
Thank you. That was very quick. Do we have any trustee or advisory? Do we have any trustee or advisory committee reports?
Just right.
Or a hand
On Friday, May 20th, the Student Council hosted the Class Olympics. It was a great event watching all the classes show up with their class colors and competitive spirits. The Student Council organized all the events and set up the exciting night. This was an amazing event for the students to look forward to. For the freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, it was their first class Olympics due to the pandemic, which didn't allow them to partake in fun activities such as class Olympics. The senior field day that was scheduled to take place today has been rescheduled to June 22nd. It will be combined with the senior banquet. The student council is organizing and running this event as well. It will take place in the Veterans Courtyard. This will be a nice way to send out our seniors as they graduate from Belfort High School. This past weekend, Maddie Budress and I attended the Obu Leadership Conference. Their mission is to help sophomores recognize their leadership skills and apply them to become better leaders in their community. Both Maddie and I took away important lessons from Obu and hope to share them with our peers and apply them to our school community. Yesterday, the Athletes Helping Others Club hosted their annual Special Olympics. Members of the club teamed up with the students of Mr. White and Mrs. Albrecht's class to compete in various physical activities, such as the egg and spoon race, three-legged race, tug-of-war, and the relay race. To end the event, we had a picnic and played cornhole. This is always an event that everyone looks forward to. On Monday, the seniors will go to their senior trip to Hershey Park. 100 seniors will be attending this trip, and they're all very excited. And I wanted to say thank you to the board for making my first year as ex officio a great experience and sharing all the positive attributes our high school has to offer.
Thank you, and we would thank you. We thank you for all your service this year, and it's been a pleasure having you on the board in your ex officio capacity. Thank you. Now we have any public commentary? And just so the board is aware, we did get a late email from someone, and I forwarded that to everybody. So be sure you read it, because our job is to read all of these. And just to remind everybody, every email does have a response, and we are aware of it. Next is items for discussion.
Sure, so that's the big item over here. So tonight's meeting marks two very important yet different milestones in one's career: tenure and retirement. The granting of tenure signifies the district's decision to make a more permanent commitment towards your professional career in South Country. And in retiring, you have completed your service to the district, and you are ready to move on to all of the adventures retirement brings. Each of you came to South Country with the credentials, talent, and the potential to be successful. You have done the job well during your time here, and you have proven your ability to be effective. Our 23 retirees have 507 years of service between them, and I thank them for their commitment and outstanding service to the district over the years. Our 33 tenure candidates have only 140 years of service between them, and we are looking forward to working with them and watching them grow professionally during their career. You know, teaching isn't easy, but what can be more an important profession than one that shapes the minds and lives of children? It takes much time and effort to help students learn and grow, and many of our students come to us needing not only academic assistance, but with social and emotional needs as well. You have each demonstrated your ability to help our students learn and grow. So on behalf of the district, our school community, and our students, may I say thank you for all that you have done and all that you will continue to do during your tenure here in South Country. So this evening we will be celebrating our 23 retirees first. We will do it by building. I will call up the building principal. I will say a couple of words about each of our retirees, and then we will move through the ranks of the buildings until we get to the end. So I'm going to ask Ms. Della Rosa to please come up to the podium, and we will begin with Belfort High School.
Our first retiree from Belfort High School is Vicki Marcomus. She retired earlier this year as a teaching assistant, finishing her career at Belport High School. Vicki has served the students of this district, giving her heart and soul to our South Country students. When the pandemic forced the shutdown of schools back in March of 2020, I remember reporting to the high school to help hand out food to the community, and Ms. Marcomus was there. She continued to report every day through the end of the 2020 school year. I was fortunate to get to know her better during this time, and am thankful not only to her for volunteering, but also for sharing her giving heart with the South Country community. Is our next retiree. She's retiring from the South Country Central School District after teaching for over 22 years. She has spent time as a special education teacher in both Belport High School and Belport Middle School. Diane is best known for always having a great story, a good laugh, or some homemade baked goods. We wish her best in her retirement and will miss her next year. Jennings was hired in 2007 and has been teaching art science, living environment, and numerous science electives at Belport High School for 15 years. He has also been coaching both varsity girls and boys tennis teams for over 10 years. Mark has been a valued member of the science department and has always represented his huge personality each and every holiday, become the center of each themed Spirit Day. Mark, we wish you all the best in the future and hope you get to enjoy retirement as much as possible. Our next retiree is Linda Lipple. She started working for the South Country School District in 2006 in Brookhaven Elementary as a one-on-one aide with a visually impaired student. She then moved with her to Frank P. Long, where she began learning Braille to best help her student. She took classes at night after work and became a teacher's assistant. She then moved on to Belport Middle School and finally to Belport High School, where she walked with her student as she received her high school diploma. This was a very special experience for Linda and is one of the reasons she has enjoyed her time at Belport High School so much. Linda plans to spend time traveling with her husband now that she's retired. On behalf of the students and the staff at Belport High School, thank you for all you have contributed over the years. Belport High School is Lynette Murphy. She's been dedicated to Belport High School before she even worked here. Lynette served as a probation officer from December of 1995 to September of 2008, with one of her assignments right here at BHS. In 2008, Lynette became an official South Country social worker and has been caring for our students ever since. Over the years, she was the advisor for many years of clubs, including A World of Difference, Students Against Destructive Decision-Making, the Gay Straight Alliance, and Peer Mediation. In 2009, Lynette took over leadership of Compass Unity Coalition and has built that program into a strong presence in the South Country community, helping keep our students safe from drugs. Lynette and her husband will be relocating to Palm Coast, Florida, as soon as the school year ends. She's not sure what the next chapter of life holds, but she doubts she'll be sitting still for long. She and her husband have recently bought a camper and plan to travel around the country with their dog, Chloe. Lynette, thank you for all you've done for the students, families, and South Country community. You have been an incredible asset to all whose life you have touched, and you will be missed.
Thank you, Ms. Rosa. And I'd like to invite Dr. Colson up for Belport Middle School.
Thank you. Our first retiree is Ms. Grace Beamer. Ms. Beamer has worked in the South Country School District for since 2011. Ms. Beamer is part of the middle school night custodial crew, and she has been helpful in maintaining the building. Ms. Beamer is a proud parent of 3 children, all of them who are teachers, and she has several grandchildren, and I'm sure those grandchildren will keep her busy. We'd like to take this time to wish Ms. Beamer a happy and restful retirement. Our next retiree is Mr. Mike Fjord. Mr. Fjord is a science teacher at the Belleville Middle School, and he's been in the school district since July of 1998. Mr. Fjord has taught both in the middle and high school. Mr. Fjord has been very fond of the memories of all the science labs that he's created and enjoyed seeing his students learn over the years of his teaching. Mr. Fjord is going back to school upon retirement, to graduate school where he wants to become a scientist, and he also is a private pilot. He plans to do a lot of flying in his retirement. We wish Mr. Fury good luck in his future endeavors. Our next retiree is Miss Carol Lowley. Miss Lowley is a reading teacher at the Belleville Middle School. Ms. Lowley has worked in the South Country School District for over 20 years. She has shared her knowledge and experiences in many of the schools. She has worked in Brookhaven Elementary School, Vern W. Fritz, Frager Street, and Frank Hewell. Ms. Lowley plans on spending time with her family during her time here. Best wishes to Mrs. Lowley for a restful, happy, healthy, and productive retirement filled with fun and family and friends. Teddy Lodigas is also a part of the Belleville Middle School night custodial crew. He's the evening head custodian. Mr. Lodigas plays an important role in ensuring that the middle school is well kept and maintenance is needed. Mr. Lazidas has been with the South Country School District since March of 2011. He has a good rapport with his co-workers. We want to wish good luck to Teddy and his future endeavors, and we hope he gets some time to take and enjoy some well-deserved rest. For Belfort Middle School is Miss Ellen Zeller. She retires as a teaching assistant with over 20 years of experience as a teaching assistant. She's worked also at the Belfort Middle School as well as the high school. We're thankful that she has worked with many of our students that are our special needs students, as well as she's worked with an abundance of staff. We want to wish her the best of luck in her retirement, and we thank her for her years of service.
Thank you, Dr. Colson. And I'd like to invite Ms. Brzezinski up for Frank P. Long Intermediate School.
Our first retiree is Ms. Christine Hargis. Mrs. Hargis worked in the South Country Central School District for 27 years. During the time, she was a teaching assistant at Craven Street Elementary School for 2 years and a classroom teacher at Frank P. Long Intermediate School for the remaining 23 years. Mrs. Hargis turned her classroom into Hargis' world, an environment where students would feel comfortable taking risks and feel supported. In speaking with Mrs. Hargis, she stated she is honored to have lived and worked in the South Country community. She loves being able to see former students in the library, stores, village, and at school events. Here is a fun fact. When she retired in December 2021, a former 5th grade student was her replacement. Mrs. Hargis accomplished what she set out to do when she was in 3rd grade, teach. Thank you, Mrs. Hargis, for your years of hard work and dedication. You have been a true asset to our school, and it has been a privilege to work alongside you. Mrs. Hargis was not able to be here with us this evening, but we would like to wish her all the best on her retirement. She will be greatly missed. Our last retiree is Milagros Milliner. Mrs. Milliner worked in the South Country Central School District for the past 21 years as a teaching assistant. During that time, she worked at Belport High School for 1 year, South Haven Early Childhood Center for 2 years, Brookhaven Elementary School for 12 years, and a total of 6 years at Frank P. Long Intermediate School. Mrs. Milliner developed relationships with the students in her care as well as her colleagues. She is organized and always wanted to do her job to the best of her ability. Congratulations on your retirement, Mrs. Milliner. We wish you well as you begin the next chapter in your life. You will be greatly missed.
Thank you, Mrs. Brzezinski. And now I'd like to invite Dr. Raymond up about Brookhaven Elementary School.
Good evening and congratulations to all of the retirees. I have had the privilege of working with Mr. Brian Hilliard, Mrs. Donna Caldecott, Mrs. Julie Mcdermott, and Mrs. Diana Tibaldi for the past 8 years. Mrs. Tibaldi has served as a lunch monitor at Brookhaven for the past 20 years. She has been a dedicated and outspoken monitor and worker who has supported her students throughout all grade levels. She has truly worked tirelessly to connect with all people in which she interacts with and strove to help students problem solve when necessary. Thank you, Mrs. Tibaldi, for putting your heart in all that you do. Wishing you all the best in this exciting new chapter of your life. Mrs. Mcdermott has worked as a teacher at Brookhaven Elementary School for 35 years, spending the majority of her career in 2nd grade. She has been an incredible supporter of our school in so many ways, both in the classroom and for many of our after-school events. Mrs. Mcdermott has a tireless determination to help students unlock their true potential, advocating for students and connecting with their families, always finding the balance of guiding her students, but pushing them to set new goals in their learning. Thank you, Mrs. Mcdermott, for being an incredible role model for our entire school community by your positivity, your calm demeanor, and your endless determination to be a lifelong learner. Congratulations on your retirement. Mr. Hilliard has worked as a teacher throughout the Brookhaven and Frank P. Long schools for 36 years. He has a steadfast and consistent resolve in everything that he does. An incredibly knowledgeable educator, Mr. Hilliard has served as a teacher in a classroom setting, remote learning co-teacher, and as a mathematics academic intervention services specialist. Mr. Hilliard has been diligent in having his students explain their thinking fully, and has always celebrated their successes, no matter how big or small. Thank you, Mr. Hilliard, for your unshakable belief in making the best of every situation. which has been inspiring to our entire school community throughout your incredible career. Congratulations on your retirement. Has a lifelong connection within the South Country Central School District, both personally and professionally. She is a proud Bellport graduate, also a child of a Bellport alumni, as well as a very ecstatic parent of Bellport graduates. Mrs. Calicott never truly left the South Country Central School District. Her professional career spans 42 years, beginning as a student teacher in our district. Mrs. Calicott has served as a teacher in both the classroom and special education settings, a remote teacher, and as a mathematics academic intervention specialist. Her dedication to students, both past and present, has been admirable. Thank you, Mrs. Calicott, for your endless belief in our school district, and much more for touching the lives of everyone you come into contact with, including myself. Wishing you all the best in this exciting new chapter of your life.
Thank you, Dr. Raven. And I'd like to invite Mrs. Mazziotti up for our W quiz.
Good evening. My first retiree is Ms. Anne-Marie Baldino, and she's worked in the South Country Central School District for 20 years as a special education aide and a monitor associate. During that time, she worked at Bellport High School, Bellport Middle School, Brookhaven Elementary School, Kramer Street Elementary School, completed her career at Fjord Elementary School. Ms. Baldino was not able to be with us tonight, but we would like to wish her all the best in her retirement. Mrs. Amy Watson worked in the South Country Central School District for 6 years as a general education and a special education classroom teaching assistant. During that time, she worked at Frankie Long Intermediate School and went on to complete her career at Bird W. Kurtz Elementary School. Mrs. Watson also was not able to be here with us this evening, but we would like to wish her all the best in her retirement. And my last retiree, Mrs. Robin Montague. Mrs. Montague has worked in the South Country Central School District for 30 years. For 2 years, she taught 4th and 5th grade at Hampton Avenue School, which is now known as Frankie Long Intermediate School, before moving on to teach kindergarten for the last 25 years at Bird W. Kurtz Elementary School. The highlight of Robin's career is knowing that she is connected with many students and families over her 30 years working in the district. I know that Vern Kurtz families feel the same, as I have received many requests from parents asking for their children to be in her kindergarten class, as she was their kindergarten teacher when they attended Kurtz. Even though she will not miss data collection, computers, and the paperwork that goes along with teaching, she will miss the people that she has worked with during her career. Robin plans to treat her family to a vacation, volunteer more at church, travel all over the United States with her husband Steve in their RV, learn pickleball, and declutter her basement. I first met Robin when she was a parent of a high school student, and then had the pleasure of being her colleague at Kurtz. She is one of the most caring people that I've ever met. Her students are her world, and she would do absolutely anything for them. Robin, you will be greatly missed at Kurtz, and the kindergarten way will never be the same. Enjoy your well-deserved retirement, and every day we will all try to find happiness in the small moments in honor of you.
Thank you, Mrs. Mazziotti. Now I'd like to introduce Mrs. Carson for Student Support Services.
Good evening. First, I'd like to congratulate all the tenure candidates and the retirees. Specifically, I would like to congratulate Marianne Anderson. Marianne has worked as an office assistant in the preschool special education office, servicing children ages 3 to 5 for over 15 years. Marianne has assisted many parents in finding programs and services for preschoolers with disabilities. All the members of the special education office play an integral role in the success of our students. Marianne's position is unique in that she is often the first person a parent speaks to about the needs of their child. It takes a compassionate and understanding person to assist the parents in navigating through the CPSE process. I want to thank Marianne for being that person. When I asked Marianne to share something about her time working in the CPSE office, she shared that she found it rewarding to help children get the support they need to prepare them for success in their academic journey. Thank you again, Marianne, for your 15 years of dedication to the preschool department. We all wish you the best in your retirement.
Thank you, Mrs. Carson. And now I'd like to introduce Mr. Briggs for Human Resources.
Good evening. First, I'd like to congratulate all the retirees and recognize those that are here to be awarded tenure this evening. And good luck to those retirees. More specifically, Kathy Barone. I think everybody here, or everybody here that works in the district and the Board of Education, Dr. Gianni, everybody knows who Kathy Barone is. She's the face of HR and the glue that keeps things together over in HR. She's been here for 24 years. She spent her first 3 years starting in March 1999 as a substitute part-time clerk typist in technology. Then she became a 10-month CSEA clerk typist, also in technology, but full-time, or a 10-month employee. 2005, she did come to HR and became a confidential in the HR office. I worked with her with one other person for a year before Kathy took over, and Kathy's the first face you see in the morning. She's there every day at 7 o'clock, promptly, works very hard. She takes care of seniority, the agendas, longevity. I could go on, but she is a big loss to me. It's going to be a challenge for the first little bit that she's gone. She does not leave till October, so we'll be transitioning somebody in. I do wish her luck in her retirement. She has 2 children that graduated from the district. One's in Florida, one's in North Carolina. I know that she's looking forward to visiting with them once she does retire. And I know she's going to love spending time on that nice new boat that she got. She couldn't join us tonight. She was unable to attend, but I just want everybody to recognize her and the big contribution she gave to the district.
Thank you, Mr. Briggs. I have the pleasure of recognizing our retiring administrators, starting with Mr. Robert McIntyre. Bob served as the district's Director of Health, Physical Education, and Athletics for 12 years before his December 2021 retirement. While at South Country, Bob is credited with creating a student-first culture in our athletic department. If your athletes believe you love them and care about them outside of athletics, they will perform at their highest level. Bob also represented the district well. At Section 11, he served as Conference 2 officer for 6 years, including 2 terms as president. He has also been a long-time member of the Modified Committee and the Eligibility Committee, and more recently served on Athletic Council and the Safety Committee. In 2022, Bob was named the Section 11 Athletic Director of the Year by New York State Athletic Administrators Association for making outstanding contributions to athletics over the years and displaying devotion, commitment, and promotion of athletics in a positive manner. We extend our congratulations to Bob. He certainly served the South Country School District well during his tenure. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert McIntyre. Our next retiring administrator is Mr. John Frankie. Mr. Frankie is a long-time, highly regarded administrator here in South Country Central School District. Mr. Frankie began at Belport High School in 1995, where he served as physical education teacher and coached varsity football and varsity softball. In 2001, Mr. Frankie became Dean of Students at Belport High School, and 2 years later, he was promoted to the position of Athletic Director, a role he served for 7 years. In 2010, Mr. Frankie decided to move to the role of assistant principal at Belport Middle School and served in that role through June of 2021. In his final year, Mr. Frankie moved to the high school where he served as assistant principal before moving back to the position of athletic director. In addition to his stellar service in the various positions he's held here in South Country, Mr. Frankie will be missed for his positive connections with our students, their families, our faculty and staff, and our community. We extend our congratulations to you, John, who certainly served the South Country School District well during your tenure here. Ladies and gentlemen, John Frankie. President Hayes for some board recognition.
Stay here. I have a couple of recognitions to do. We have 2 board members who are retiring. And the first is Melissa Arruda, and I first met Ms. Arruda when we both ran for school board 3 years ago. But over the time together, I've appreciated many things about her, especially her kindness, her consideration, and her concern for all students and their families, and for the educators, staff, and administrators in the district. But she also provided consideration and concern for her fellow board members. In particular, I particularly appreciated her ability to speak plainly and make her points concisely, as well as her ability to point out areas where board members needed to do a better job while still recognizing the best qualities in each member. Ms. Arruda, I will miss having you at the table, but I look forward to seeing you in the audience and on committees, just like you promised. Thank you for your service. So I guess that was the reason they wanted me to go stand. The next retiree is Clyde Parker. Well, Clyde had been a friend of mine since before running for the board 3 years ago. And I believe he still continues to be my friend, even after the 3 years on the board. He's been the mentor for all of us during this 3-year period. Not only does he have a lifetime of experiences which shape his approach to life, but he brought to the board his wisdom and his kindness. From his days as a young student in Oklahoma, participating in early civil rights marches, and also in his service in the Army in Germany, his residences in various European countries, and his travels to all parts of the world, Clyde has never lost sight of the individual needs of the people who live around him. We've all benefited from his service to the community and to this district. Thank you so much. And I have just one final recognition today for a retiree. And unlike the first two where we hear these comments for retiring board members, we don't often hear one for a superintendent. There's not a roadmap for how to comment on a retirement of a superintendent in this district. In my memory, going back several decades, there have been multiple resignations and interim appointments that have ended, but this seems to be the first retirement that I can remember. It's different. You've been with the district for 9 years, and this is a planned retirement. And like many aspects of your tenure, it was strategically planned so that it didn't take place during the pandemic, and it did take place at a time when the Board of Education could successfully conduct a careful and intensive search for a new superintendent to succeed you. And for that, we are grateful. The process of searching for your successor enabled us to reflect upon the things that we appreciate about your time with us. And for me, I have appreciated your unfailing commitment to the students in this district and your steadfast efforts to provide quality education in safe spaces where every child can feel valued and have a sense of belonging. That went hand in hand with your recognition of the importance of the roles played by our educators and building administrators in providing those educational opportunities. Thank you for your dedication to the district and for your efforts during your 9 years with us to establish a framework that can be built upon as we move forward. And we wish you well as you enter that new phase of life where your new title will be retired superintendent. Thank you very much.
Much appreciated. You're still stuck with me to the end of July. Okay, in addition to congratulations, first let's hear it for all our retirees. And in addition to our retirees, I would like to give a shout out to Mr. Pete Dunbar of Awards and Gifts, who supplied the awards for this evening. We're still feeling the effects of this pandemic when it comes to getting supplies, and these awards are certainly one of those supplies. He was in his office today engraving for us to get these things prepared for him. So big shout out to Pete for making it all happen. We appreciate that. And then if we could all hang in there, we got one more item, and I think President Hayes is going to take item 2, the Nassau Suffolk School Boards Association honors.
Yes, but I think I'm going to need Mr. Puccini to chime in on this one as well. The Nassau Suffolk School Boards Association has issued an honorary recognition for the school board for having played a critical role in confronting the challenges that have been presented over the intense and unprecedented times during the last couple of years. And so the Nassau Suffolk School Board's president, Michael Kelly, remarked, "Who best to recognize the pressures and gravity of the decision-making you face and the value of your contributions other than your colleagues who serve on the executive committee of the Nassau Suffolk School Boards Association." So my understanding is, Mr. Puccini, that at the last meeting, The certificate was delivered to you as the representative for the board, and that will be on file, I believe, with the clerk. And there's also going to be a press release with regard to this honor. Is there anything you wanted to add to this?
Is this on?
Yeah, sure. I think as the pandemic comes to a close and life gets back to normal, organizations such as Nassau Suffolk School Board are able to meet in person again and just kick up the advocacy efforts that they've done for so many years. But it was important that the administrators wanted to really recognize school board members from across Long Island and really across the state as well for the efforts specifically during the pandemic. It's become, and we talk about this a lot in our meetings, it's become a lot harder to be a school board member. Just look at some of the elections. We went through a difficult election in our town. You can read the news articles, whether it's Newsday or News 12, about controversies in school districts, and school board members sometimes are right there on the front lines. No matter a student asked me once recently in class, what do you not like about being a school board member? And I said, no matter what, someone's always mad at you for something, because you can't make a decision that satisfies everyone. And when you look at masks, no masks, in school, out of school, remote, those are just some examples of how difficult it was. And when you see some of the pressure placed on school boards, specifically over masks in the last year or so, it's become difficult. So this was just a way for the executive board to honor everybody for their commitment and their efforts. And it was presented at the annual budget meeting a few weeks ago, which myself and Dr. Gianni attended. So I was able to get mine in person, and the rest of it was shipped off to be handed out tonight. So that's it.
Thank you.
All right, with the board's indulgence, I'd like to ask that we do curriculum business together. And if that's okay, administration recommends approval of curriculum items reflected in schedules G1 and G2, and business items reflected in items I1 through I23.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve items G1 and G2? And also items I1 through I23. Mr. Parker, second by Ms. Felice. Any questions or discussion?
It's on? Thank you, I'm sorry. I don't want to hold up the ceremony part, but I do have two questions on 6 and 7 in items number I. So if I could just ask those questions after you do the vote and the celebration for the tenure appointments. Under I, number 6 and 7, yeah. So you can continue, so if we don't hold up the agenda, if I could just ask those questions later. Okay?
Thank you. So we have the motion, it was seconded. Any questions or discussion being held? Or do you want to ask them now?
No, I do not think they're quick.
Okay. So all in favor? We have all in favor? No.
They're just going to be a question.
So all in favor? It's unanimously approved.
Thank you. And moving to personnel, administration recommends approval of personnel changes reflected in schedules H1 through H11.
Is there a motion to approve personnel items H1 through H11? Mr. Puccini made the motion, a second by Ms. Arruda. Questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Unanimously approved.
Okay, so you folks that have been waiting for approval of tenure, that just happened. But what we're going to do is I am going to announce you, and I would like you to stand and remain standing. And then if the audience could just try to hold your applause till the end, and everybody's up, that'd be just great. Okay? So, congratulations to the 10 new candidates who the board just approved. Please stand. Caitlin Burke, Salvatore Bonachero, Alec Johnson, Catherine Johnson, Christopher Palatucci, Dana Penegua, Amanda Parry, Larissa Reitzel, Janine Sparasan, Jessica Aragati, Brian Grinskell, Lisa Ferrara, Jeremy Freeman, Audrey Garcia, Courtney Libator, Christopher Lochner, Margaret Glennon Adelia, Samantha Parente, Catherine Romano, Kerry Kearney, Erica Anapito, Heather Talmage, Cynthia Wilkin, Lydia Swinkin, Christine Tomasino, Lori Cruz, Lauren Perasmo, Jack Burke, Heather Jockerman, Rosa Calamaris, Mandy Mazziotti, Dr. Rebecca Raymond, and Jacqueline O'Hagan. Items for closing, but I think we're going to entertain your questions.
Before our tenured people, I'm sure a number of the board members would want to make a comment. I would just personally like to thank all of our teachers and administrators who were awarded tenure tonight. And I just want to give a special shout out to Dr. Rebecca Raymond, because I was able to go full circle with her when I was on the board the first time, and as board president, I participated in the hiring of Dr. Raymond for principal, and it was very gratifying tonight to be able to approve your tenure. So congratulations.
Would this be like
Thank
closing
you.
remarks?
Because I think we have a question.
I know a handful of retirees have left, but I did want to make just a few comments. This is always one of the better meetings of the year. It really is such a great opportunity to honor those who spent their careers here with us in South Country, and to thank them for their efforts. I've been doing this long enough where you go through the list. It's always interesting. I have a cousin, a former neighbor, a couple teachers that my kids have had, and some people who I've had the opportunity to work closely with to help some kids, and it's sad to see them go. But it's always fitting on tenure night as well, because we welcome in for the duration of their career a group of great educators that hopefully fill those big shoes. So congratulations to those who are retired. Thank you for everything you've done to make South Country a special place. And congratulations to all those who received tenure. The last couple of years in education, as I said before, have not been easy. So to manage tenure through these times is really remarkable. So congratulations to all, and thank you all for coming. One brief thing as well, I apologize. I didn't plan remarks for Dr. Gianni because we're stuck with him for 2 more meetings. But since this is the last meeting of the school year, it is a special time for me because I was here part of the group that hired Dr. Gianni, and it's been a real great 9 years for me. I'll save more for the retirement party and for one of those meetings coming up, the official last one. But it is a little bittersweet again. We let people sail off into the sunset. We welcome new faces, and there certainly is going to be a lot of transition and a lot to get used to around here. But great things are coming, so thank you.
I'm just going to go down the table. Ms. Aruda, did you have comments? Just
just want to congratulate all of the retirees. As a teacher myself, I know all of the work that you put into being a teacher and going into the schools each and every single day. So thank you for everything that you've done. Big shout out to my Miss Monty there, my kindergarten whisperer. I can't believe that you're not going to give her grades anymore. And to our tenure recipients, congratulations. It's a wild ride and enjoy every single moment of it. Congratulations.
Congratulations to everyone, especially my mom.
You said yours, Mr. Parker?
And this is to all the people. Oh my God, this is kind of hard for me. It's been, the last 3 years has been a wonderful part of my life. Thank you all for electing me, putting your confidence in me. I also want to thank, before I get to the people this evening, the students of 22. I just want to congratulate them on a wonderful job done. It's been pretty rough on them, and with COVID and all, and I'm just so proud of them. And then to all the retirees and the other people who received awards this evening, I can't tell you how thrilled I am for you. So again, I'm short of words because I'm sort of, well, anyway, have a good evening and thanks again for the confidence.
I was just going to tell you that that my morning started in this room at about 7:30, where we had senior awards given out, and that was a thrill to be part of. It's also a thrill to be part of this event, where we're acknowledging all the work of our educators and our staff with regard to providing the education for all of our students. We're glad you're able to move on to the next phase of your life. We're also glad to have the new group of educators come on board, having gotten tenure tonight. So I thank you. Trying to find the high school principal in all these spaces. There she is. Thank you, Ms. Della Rosa, for providing the space to start my day and continuing it all day, where there's just been really wonderful events start to finish. Congratulations to everybody. Thank you so much. And now, you want your question?
You guys want to leave.
Now we get down to the boring business. Enjoy your night.
Ms. Costa, can you go up to the podium, please?
Ms. Costa, you ready for the questions I have? Yes. Okay, thank you. So with respect to I-6 and 7, the authorization to establish limit to fund reserves for the year ending 2021 to 22, and then adjustments to those reserves. So obviously these are legal requirements that we have to fulfill.
Correct.
Okay, and so, so my question is also with respect to the treasurer's report for March and April that was on our agenda that we approved earlier. The money, how much do we spend approximately a month in our budget to get us to the end of the year? Do you have that figure?
Not on the top of my head, no.
All right. So, but, you know, we take 145 divided by 12, so it's about $12,000 a month, perhaps? Or does more get spent at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year?
Let's get spent at the beginning of the year.
Less gets spent at the beginning, okay. So that's a great segue into my question as far as how much is permissible to encumber before the end of the year so that we can get an idea of what our fund balance is going to be. Can you encumber more, say for the May report, to give us a better idea of what we're going to have in a fund balance at the end of the June report?
The way encumbering works is it's only based on the requisitions for the district or contractual salary amounts. You can't encumber anything that's not contractual in nature. So all the costs that are not contractual, timesheets, anyone paid on a timesheet, Medicare reimbursements to our retirees, anyone that makes a claim to us and there's no purchase order. So there are millions of dollars in the budget that we cannot encumber because that's not how the encumbering process works.
Okay.
So you have to project out where you're going to fall at the end of the year as opposed to just, those reports are not closed. The only real closed books the district has is our year-end financial statements. The monthly treasurer's reports are not closed final books on any given month. Because closed final books have to address all of the items that can't be encumbered. And that's what we do at the end of the year. So during the year, it's only a reflection of what can be encumbered, which are purchase order requisitions, because they have contractual obligations, and contractual only salary obligations.
Okay. Thank you for that. In your opinion, with what we have available now, are we comfortable in what our fund balance will be to take us into the next budget year?
I estimated the fund balance during the budget development process, and those numbers stand.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Do you want to know the difference of those two resolutions that you're passing tonight?
Yes. Yes, please. Thank you.
I-7 is actually an affirmation of what you did when you developed the budget in 21-22. It is when you developed the budget for this school year, we said we were going to use $3,324,000 worth of reserves. And that this is just reiterating that in the resolution format that we can use up to that amount that we did during the budget development process this time last year. Item I-6 is actually the authorization of what we can fund at the end of the year when we finish closing our books this year. This resolution is normally done in August. It must be done before we set the tax levy for the district. If the resolution wasn't done, you would literally not be able to put any of your excess money anywhere. Since I will not be here, I have moved this up earlier in case there's a delay in who might take my position, so that the board and the community, they're already set when we close our books as to where you could put your money at the end of the year.
Okay. Thank you once again.
And thank you for looking out for us going into the future. Thank you. Okay, now we have a motion to adjourn. That's by Mr. Trent, second by Mr. Parker. All in favor? It's unanimous. We're now adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.